Bro, I'm going to give you nuts on that one because, to be completely unpopular opinion, but I just have better things to do. Mm-hmm. And I can't, I feel like I'm wasting time sitting there cheering for a team. Today, we are with Mr. Gage Andrews.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
Good, brother. Thanks for having me.
Oh, dude, I'm so happy to finally get you up on the pod. It's been long overdue. I found you from your Instagram. I don't know if you were running an ad or if you were just in the whole way the algorithm works, man. Mm-hmm. Like it seems like as a videographer, I get so many videos of random people everywhere with like cool editing technique. You probably get the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's just flooded. Yep. And I happened to see your page and I was like, this guy says he's in Houston. Clicked on your stuff and I was like, oh shoot, man. Like I need to reach out to this guy and make friends with him, man. It's hard out here in these streets to find good friends that aren't super competitive with each other, right? Mm-hmm. But are always willing to either go shoot or just have a good time. So yeah, man, welcome to the pod.
Appreciate you having me, Kyle.
Yeah. So tell me, man, this is your first podcast, correct?
First podcast ever. Yeah, man.
Well, hey, we're popping the cherry for you, brother. I'm happy that we get to do it here. How was the drive in this morning?
It was nice, dude. It was smooth. You know, the weather's cooling down a little bit right now. I know it's, being in Texas, it's, not really fall. But, yeah, we're closer to the water here. I think this is my first time actually in Kima. So, beautiful. Yeah,
it's a sweet little slice of heaven out here compared to big city living. Mm-hmm. I know my brother, he recently just moved out of the Heights and, living in Miami prior to this, I like the city, but what I've noticed is, especially during storms, dude, like it's the worst place to live. And, we have chickens, we have a little bit of land out here, and it's a little bit quieter. People are a little bit more nicer, and man, I love it out here. So, yeah, man, I just wanted to kind of get you on the pod today and kind of just hear about your life story because I know that you're not from Texas, correct?
Correct. Yeah. No, I'm originally from Georgia. So
what part?
Originally down south, and then I moved up north for a little bit. But yeah, south side.
Bulldogs fan? Who's your team?
If I had to pick a team, honestly, I guess you could say the Falcons, but I'm not a huge sports guy in general. So,
bro, I'm gonna give you nuts on that one because I am unlike most men. I feel like all my friends are avid fans of sports, and dude, to be completely unpopular opinion, but I just have better things to do, and I can't. I feel like I'm wasting time sitting there cheering for a team or people that I don't even know. Right?
It's crazy, man. I mean, most guys they could tell you every player on the team, but like they're tracking it like it's like they're on the field, But yeah, to each their own, man. I just it's never really been my thing. So
no, I dig it. What's some of your hobbies other than doing videography, photography, and social media stuff?
I like to lift, man. Anything outdoors. In high school, I ran track, cross country. I've done just about every sport as a kid. Was never excelled to a high level at any of them, like, wanting to go play college ball or anything. But I just like getting out, man. Lifting. I love to run, swim, hike, bike. I mean, you name it, man. Being in the city, we have a lot of good parks, so I find myself running quite a bit. And, getting introduced to a nice gym down there as well.
What gym do you go to in the city?
Right now, I'm at Rain Athletics. So if anybody is in the Houston area, that I'm telling you, if you're a fan of warehouse gyms, you like more of that like bodybuilder, local community style, that's the place to be.
That's awesome. And is that in the Heights or where is that in Houston? I'm unfamiliar.
Yeah. That's right downtown. I want to say it's 2nd Ward. Okay. So I know for me personally, when I moved to the city, I had a hard time finding a good gym in the city. I was like, man, I'm going to be in the city around everything. Like there's got to be plenty of gyms, but really like the good gyms, especially when you think about Houston and like Alpha Land or Roman Empire, like those massive gyms, those are all down, Baytown.
Well, Roman's here.
Oh yeah. Roman's right here.
Roman's 10 minutes down the road.
Best gym in the world in my eyes.
You think so?
I love that gym to death, man. I've only been one time. I had to shoot there. Just astonishing gym, man. They have every piece of equipment you could ever imagine in there. I love it. But yeah, as far as the city goes, man, it's really hard to find even commercial gyms. There's only a couple. There's like EOS Fitness, Planet Fitness, and there's just not many options. But yeah, Rain Athletics is the place to be over there.
Okay, and So I know you said you have a girlfriend. Do you guys live together? Does she live near you? How often do you guys get to see each other?
Yeah, so my girlfriend, she lives in the city as well. She lives in Montrose area right now, so we don't live together.
Nice.
We're planning to make the move next year, and we'll probably be in Upper Heights still. But right now we're both in the city, so we get to see each other all the time. It's great.
Yeah, you know what's so good about, because I remember earlier you were saying you were 23, and we were talking before we started rolling about, man, like once you start having kids and get married, your time has to be put in different buckets, and it's so great that you're in a position right now to where you can be extremely aggressive and selfish with your time. And man, I sometimes do think about the times of when I was living on my own as a bachelor, even dating my now wife. Man, like it's so nice to, if you want to just play video games for the day, or if you just want to not talk to anyone and just edit on your computer, you can do that, and that's your only responsibility of the day. It's great.
Yeah. No, it's definitely nice, man. And I encourage young men, like, don't tread lightly on that opportunity, because like we talked about off camera, like once you start involving kids in the mix, even animals, dude, like it changes the dynamic. I know my girlfriend's been like begging to get a dog, and I'm like, I don't think you really understand, like having a dog, you can't go out as much. It's just an extra responsibility. And I think a lot of people don't really see that side of it until it happens, and then they're like, oh shit, like now I can't do all these things, that I've always done. So
it's the honeymoon phase, right? Like everyone loves puppies until they become big dogs, and then you're like, dude, this dog is a pain.
Right.
Because I was the one that convinced my wife for us to get a puppy when we lived in Miami. And I love my dog. It's a great dog, great family dog. But dude, like we're going to the LSU game tonight in Baton Rouge, and it's like, what are we gonna do with the dog? It's just one more thing that you have to deal with. So, but yeah, man, I kind of want to know what brought you out to Texas and what's kept you here. And catch me up.
Yeah, for sure, Kyle. So originally, I was in Georgia. Just a little bit about my career. I was fresh out of high school, didn't really know what to do. Always was into camera, shooting cameras since a kid. Probably around like 12 is when I like first picked up a camera. Always just been a creative guy. Love to draw. Love to do anything creative. Love to make stories. Always been into tech. Got out, kind of put it down in high school, just lived my life as a normal high schooler. And then I graduated and I was really unsure. I was never really good at school. So I knew that wasn't the route I wanted to take. And, ended up working a bunch of odd jobs and just kind of pursuing videography on the side for a while. And then, one summer my lease was up on my apartment, and I was like, you know what, man, like, I think I was around like 19 or 20 at the time. I was like, I think I'm going to go for it. So, quit my job, moved in back with my mom for that summer, and just like went all in on video, dude. Had no idea like what it was going to look like. I didn't have a single client. I had only shot in like a couple free videos before, right? So I didn't have this massive portfolio. I had a small APS-C camera. Like I wasn't in the game, bro. And I ended up purchasing a course called Full-Time Filmmaker. I'm not sure if you...
I'm very familiar.
Yeah.
With Parker.
Yeah, dude, he's the man. And I think a lot of filmmakers can relate to that. Like everybody knows a Full-Time Filmmaker. I believe it's the biggest online film academy.
It is, and now it's Landon, by the way. Yeah, dude. So I actually modeled the studio after the studio from Landon.
Yeah.
Like I watched that video after this whole idea came, and I was just like, dude, I want what this guy has. And So okay, so you bought the course.
Yeah.
How much was it back then? Because I feel like they're always like, hey man, like, we'll give you a good deal. Like I feel like there's always this, they're willing to go lower on the price. So what'd you end up paying at the time, and how much money did you have in your bank account? Like, was that like a huge investment for you or what?
So at the time, and man, they're always running promos, right? And so I caught a promo. I believe it was like $800 at the time. And so at the time, that was a lot of money for me, man, right? $800, that was like, half of my paycheck for the entire month, and like, didn't have much money left over after rent and everything. So that was definitely coming out of my pockets. But I saw it as a good investment, and that just turned everything for me as far as like learning, right? Because you can go on YouTube, you can scour the internet for all these things, but having that course, having great mentors like Parker and Landon, like these veterans in the game, like all sitting there for you, like top to bottom, man. I mean, it completely transformed me into a professional for sure.
Did you get one-on-ones with them, or how did that work in the course? Because I know it's grown now to where they very much do almost like a subscription model now, to where it's like $49 a month. But with that, you have a larger quantity of people that can come. So when you were in 3 years ago, it was probably a little bit of a different story. So I'd love to hear about that experience.
Yeah, man, it was definitely different back then. I think videography was still more in the infancy stages. There weren't that many courses out there. There were probably a couple. And they were definitely more of a high ticket course at the time. Obviously, now you see a lot of like low ticket offers and like all these like mini courses that they come out with. And then they like introduce you to the main course. So they have a lot of different intricate ways to kind of get you in the ecosystem. But back then it was really just the full course. There was no like one-on-one coaching or anything. But what I will tell you, Kyle, is the Facebook group, man. That was probably the most beneficial thing because you had a private access to a community of filmmakers all over the world. And that's what really got me my professional start. So that summer I was scouring, doing as many jobs as I could. At that point, I had already taken the course and like learned everything. I had shot like one wedding for a family member. That was like my first like real job, And I ended up getting a job opportunity from that Facebook group to actually fly to Alaska for an entire year and work for a production company. So I was kind of like a paid intern. And I got that directly through Full-Time Filmmaker, and that's what really gave me my professional start.
What part of Alaska did you go to?
I was in Kenai.
Kenai.
Yep.
Dude, I spent some time in Kodiak and Dutch Harbor.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm familiar with Kodiak.
Man, what was your experience? I tell this to everyone. When I was in the military, everyone would always rave about Alaska. They're like, dude, once you're there, you never want to come back. And I was like, I don't know, bro. Alaska's pretty far.
Yeah.
I went there, and I can see why people feel that way. There's something about it's almost like, obviously the last frontier to where you feel like you're back in the 20s in the sense of like the gold rush era, and you can open carry, you can shoot out your porch. Like it's a very freestyle way of living. And how was your experience there?
Yeah, man, it's a different world for sure out there. I had never been up north, period, and I'm not really a huge fan of the cold. So for me, it was like I didn't really even want to go. It was more of like I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make this my career, and so I just took the leap of faith. What I can say is it was definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It is stunning, like unlike anything I've ever seen before, right? Like it looks like you're living in a postcard, like it's unreal. What I will say on the flip side of that too is like the tourist side versus like the real side of Alaska is very different, right? People come in the summer, people come in the warm months where it's perfect weather, perfect temperature. Man, when those winter months come around and you're in a super small town at 20 years old, there's no one around you your age. It's darkness for 16 hours out of the day. It's a different world, man. And it really taught me a lot. But overall, I'm super grateful for it. I would never live there now. I think I'm more of a city guy, just being my age and stuff. But it was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and the things I got to see and do, man, are just absolutely unreal.
What were some of the projects, or what did that look like for you? Like what did they have you do as the intern?
Yeah, dude, we got to do everything. So the cool thing is too, in Alaska, like there's not a lot of production companies, man. Sure. There's not a lot of people doing it, especially at the level that we were doing it at. So, man, like I first got down there, I got my hands on like a C70, like the whole RF lineup. I got there, I felt like I was in heaven, man. I was like, oh my God, he had like all this gear ready to go. And I literally got to work on everything you could think of, from corporate, social media, every industry, because we were really the only ones doing it, right? Sure. Now in Alaska, it looks way different than in the city as well. Like, right? Like the budgets aren't really there as much. You are working a lot more corporate. You're working a lot more commercial work. But I got my hands in a lot of hats, and I got to work on a variety of projects. And so very grateful, and definitely opened my eyes to the introduction of like being a full-time creative.
So you went from Alaska, and then what did you go straight from Alaska here, or you went back to Georgia? And then walk me through that.
Yeah, Kyle. So essentially, man, I was nearing my end in Alaska. It was a little over a year, and I was scouting around for like what's next, right? Like I had nothing lined up. It was kind of just go back to Georgia and figure it out. So me and my boss at the time, who was actually an incredible mentor for me as well, kind of just talked about my path and where I wanted to go. And I really wanted to dive into a marketing agency. I don't know why, but it was the opposite end of a production company. And I just wanted to taste that and see what that was like. And so I looked on LinkedIn for a long time and ended up coming across a job opportunity in Houston because I knew I wanted to be in either Georgia, Houston, or North Carolina. Those were like my big three because of family and stuff like that. And ended up getting an opportunity in Houston to go down there and work at a marketing agency. So I went straight from Alaska, flew back home, picked up all my shit, and drove straight to Texas, Houston, Texas, in a week span.
That's incredible. Talk about taking a risk on yourself, man. And so you're not at the marketing company right now. So what happened?
Yeah, man. I won't go too deep into it. I don't want to throw any slander, but what I will say is I learned a lot at the marketing agency. But it just wasn't for me, man, from kind of a leadership standpoint and just, foreseeing the future of my career there. It just wasn't what I was looking for. But I will tell you this, Kyle, man, I was extremely grateful. It opened my eyes to the world of like social media marketing and just that big city living, right? Even, in Georgia, I didn't really live in a huge major city. I didn't live in Atlanta by any means. And so I was down in Spring, I got to experience more of that city life. I went to the city of Houston a couple times. We had a lot of shoots and, I just tried to insert myself in as many rooms as I could, while I was at the agency and learn as much as I could. And same thing there, man. We shot every industry, medical, real estate, commercial, corporate, everything you could think of. So at that point, my portfolio was just stacked to the brim, man. And I learned a lot along the way.
That is awesome. So then going forward, you left the marketing company and now you're going all in on yourself. And so what would you say is some of your specialties or, the big thing? So I'm in a coaching program as well right now. And the one thing that they dial in on is finding your niche. And I don't know about you, but for the longest time I was like, dude, I get it, but like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm just going to do a job here, do a job there. But when getting on that coaching call, they're like, listen, bro, like you're a jack of all trade. You can't have a dialed in offer with 100 different things that you do. He's like, it's not specific. So I guess my question to you is like, do you have a specific niche that you would say like you're going all in on, or maybe one or two that you like to specialize in, or within your business? What's that look like?
Yeah, no, dude, that's a huge topic in the industry, right? Like which niche, putting somebody in a box. My 2 cents on that, Kyle, is like, it really depends on your goals, right? If you're running an agency or a production company, when it comes to messaging, yes, I would say you need to have a certain crafted offer towards a certain industry because like you said, right, being a jack of all trades means you're good at everything, but you're not the best at anything. And people want to work with the best, right? So you kind of have to refine into that box. Now, what I will say is it's more about the promotional side of things, right? The awareness piece. Like you could still go and shoot weddings and shoot corporate events and this and that. But when it comes to your marketing and messaging, you want to be targeting a certain person.
Correct. So I see you do a lot of real estate stuff. Would you say that like so you have an agency, right? You're not just a solo videographer. Walk me through your agency and I guess the model. Like, how many do you have employees, or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so we have a small team. We are in the social media marketing space. Cool. So, we definitely work on the marketing side of things more than just videos. Yeah, it's a lot more on the back end as well to generate a result and help. Basically, we help people build personal brands, businesses, entrepreneurs, and help them grow online using social media.
I love that. So do you do paid ads or no paid ads?
We dabble a little bit in paid ads, but I will say we are huge on the organic side. Like we always try and push that first, and we do a lot of just organic content campaigns. That's kind of our bread and butter.
I love that. No, that's cool. Yeah, I've always been pretty much an organic guy myself, but the one thing I've realized is ads, man. Ads just there's no comparison between the two, right? You see organic versus paid of the same thing, and it's just you get more eyeballs on it, right? And depending on the campaign and I guess the objective of what you're doing with that client, it can make a huge difference. But yeah, I think organic's great too because it's not as much money, right? For the client, there's not as many questions of like, hold on, so I have an ad budget. What do you mean an ad budget? Or do I pay you for that? There's just so many more questions that can go into that topic. So I think that's great. And what's some of your plans, within the next, I don't know, let's say 6 months? What are you thinking? Are you trying to grow? Do you have a lot of clients right now, or are you very boutique right now to where you have a couple higher paying clients and you're just really trying to maximize your results for them? Or
Yeah, great question, Kyle. So, in the next 6 months or so, we're definitely trying to scale the agency, growing team members, growing clients. We work pretty heavily off a retainer model because we found that's what works best to get the best results, right? Organic social content, it's not an overnight thing. It's not a 1 month thing. And so we really preach kind of building a relationship with our clients too, and saying, okay, we're going to establish our foundation, see what works, see what doesn't work. And that takes months of testing, right? So we like to work with our clients on a monthly sustainable retainer and really build to get in the trenches with them and build their brand from the ground up, build their messaging and all that good stuff. And man, I mean, the goal is to continue to grow, add team members onto the team. In the next 5 years or so, like end goal for me would be to have more locations. One back home in Atlanta would be just incredible for me. Maybe one out in Florida and just expand.
It's going to happen, man. I think you have time on your side, right? I mean, by the time let's just be very modest, right? And say you're 23. By the time you're my age, 8 years from now, shoot, dude, like you have so much runway, which I think is so incredible. And I cannot wait to see kind of what that's going to look like for you. And I cannot wait to see you succeed. And I think that you have a lot to offer. And, the one thing that I see in the industry that I wish there was more of, or I guess what's lacking in the industry that I wish there was more of is there's so many people just gatekeeping. There's so many people gatekeeping, and there's so many people just not being authentic and genuine. I've talked with people who have completely been disingenuine with the way they run their agencies, right? To where they're like, oh, we'll get you followers. And you're like, okay. I've had someone tell me, we can guarantee 70,000 followers. And I'm like, how can you guarantee people being interested in this person? And he's like, oh, well, we have systems. What are your systems? Oh, well, we have, he kept like just hiding it. And dude, we went down to the root cause of it. I was like, so you're using bots. Is what it. Let's just call a spade, bro.
Yeah.
You're using bots.
Yeah.
They're not real people. And he's like, yeah, but they get real results. I'm like, how can a robot generate real results? There's so many agencies that prey on people that are insecure and they just want vanity metrics, likes, follows. When in reality, dude, I would take 1,000 genuine people who actually are in my corner than 10,000 people. Of course, it looks more legit having 10,000 people, but if you're not generating profit, who cares?
Yeah. No, I hear you on that, Kyle. I think that's a huge problem in the industry. I see all these little like agencies popping up, right? And it's really just like a social media manager and vanity metrics like we talked about. And that's what I try and preach to my clients as well, right? It's not really about the views, right? It's not about how many people are viewing it. It's who's viewing it, right? Because the end result is not the video, right? It's not the views, it's revenue, right? Like we're all looking to grow our businesses. And so it's not so much about, getting 1 million views, but what if you got 1,000 views of people in your area that are ready to buy? Would you rather have that or 1 million views of people all across the US that are just scrolling on your feed, man?
Well, and not only that, right? Like what's great about doing that too is you can use your organic content, and if you can get incredible results with the creative, right? And you're getting, I don't know, let's just say 150 likes and 6,000 views organically. Maybe you can be like, okay, hey, like I think this is time that you should maybe run an ad with this. So you can, I don't recommend using ads or boosting posts for every post, but if you have some key indicators on those videos to where, hey, this is getting some good traction, dude, run an ad on it, man, because clearly there's a reason people are enjoying it. So, yeah. So I don't know, man. It's very interesting. What do you? I see that you're a primary Canon shooter. What's like your go-to loadout, or when you're going to shoots, what do you usually like to bring? Or I'd love to hear, I guess, like a day of routine. Do you have like routine, or what's that look like for you?
Routine as far as just like everyday routine, or as far as like for shoots?
I mean, I guess we can go into both. Do you have like an everyday routine, or I guess pillars that you like to at least do every day for your day to be quote unquote successful?
Yeah. Great question, Kyle. As far as like a day-to-day, I'm definitely a systemized man of routine. Typically my day starts at around 5 o'clock in the morning. Wake up, have a small ritual of just prayer and, getting my water and my vitamins in and all that good stuff. And then I typically do a little bit of studying, and then I go straight into work. And that's typically in the business. So I'll work in the business, or on the business, for a couple hours, and then I'll kind of eat breakfast, reset, and then go into on the business. And I try and keep my phone off from like that 5 to 9 a.m. spot, man. That's just like a golden hour for me where there's zero distractions. I'm not worried about clients texting me or this, that, or the third. I'm hyper focused on what I need to do. And then usually I'll write out something that's been huge for me is I'll have a sticky note, and I'll write out just 3 big tasks for the day that I know will move the needle forward. And then I'll have like smaller subtasks on the bottom that are not as necessary, but I would like to get done. And as long as I'm at least getting those big 3 done during the day, man, I feel great. And I know that the needle was moved forward in the business. Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever heard of Andy Frisella? So I did the Hard 75 program a while ago, and he's really big on like the 5 key tasks, right? Like 5 things to get done every day, to where, dude, if rain or shine, everything goes sideways. As long as you got 5 tasks that you chose for the day done, it was a W. And I'm big on that. That's incredible, man. I think so. Back to, you said you do studying, you do Bible study, you do just industry studying. What does that look like for you?
Yeah. So when I say studying, it's typically industry studying. I'm in plenty of courses, mentorships, programs, all that good stuff. So a lot of it is like sales training, or maybe just learning something new within the business that I'm working on at the time. But it's always something focused on the business. And then of course I have that, 15 to 30 minutes of just being in the Bible and prayer and all that as well. I try, like you said, I try and check off 1 spiritual, 1 mental, and 1 physical every day. And as long as I'm able to get those big 3 in, and then, 3 key points within the business, I feel like it's a successful day. I
remember you were saying how you do mentorships, or you're in a program. What are you in?
Yeah, so I am in a MCM mentorship right now. They're in the Houston area. I recommend anybody checking them out. Absolutely game changers. Jay and Rob, they're absolute killers. Man, just super grateful to be a part of that. So they have multiple programs. They have courses. They have, more low ticket services that you could get into, like mini challenges per se. But me personally, I'm in a one-on-one mentorship program. So I get calls with them weekly, one-on-one. And that has completely transformed my business and just helping me to really consolidate where I'm at in my business and where I want to go.
So when you say transform your business, let's dive deeper into that. What have they done to transform your business?
Everything, man. I mean, confidence, sales skills, just offers, right? Like what I'm portraying, really diving more specific into my niche and how I can accelerate that and how I can really refine my offer for my specific industry. Just top to bottom, man. I think when I first got into videography, right, I never had sales experience. I never had sales skills. And as you know, man, like sales is a huge, huge part. I mean, we're in the business of people, right? And so being able to talk confidently and be able to understand people's problems and make them feel heard is very, very important. And so that was accelerated a ton through them.
So what is your offer? If I were going to be a client of yours, I guess, like, do you have like a specific offer right now that you're really trying to push onto people? And if so, what is it? So hopefully people can, if they're interested, maybe they can reach out to you.
Right now, we just introduced a new system. It's a content accelerator system for real estate agents. And I won't go into all the deliverables, but it's basically a top to bottom system of micro content as well as nurturing content, as well as posting systems and also DM nurturing systems. So it's kind of like an all-in-one system.
Yeah.
You come in, takes 4 hours or less of your time, and you can start generating leads within the first 30 days.
Dude, that's sick. That's really cool. Yeah, so for my niche, man, I've been focusing more on like high ticket businesses because, I know you asked off camera, you're like, man, is this area pretty profitable? Is it a good area? And when I started the studio, I was like, man, there's nothing like it around here. I was like, this thing's going to go gangbusters. Well, that was the farthest thing from the truth, right? There's a lot of businesses here, but I wouldn't necessarily say they're high ticket businesses. So, it is what it is. But with that, I've been just also having to change my offer to focus on really just the people that I do want to service. And like for me, like my offer is I really want to hone more in on the studio, right? I have this place, so I want to use this place a lot more. And that's kind of why I've pivoted away from doing a lot of offset shoots to where I've transitioned to more on-site. And my offer is we will shoot 3 months of content for you. So we'll shoot 40 videos for you in the studio, mostly talking head. And so 8 hours of shooting for 40 videos for $4,000. And it comes out to around $100 a reel, which isn't crazy bad. I mean, a lot of people are like, that's a lot of money. But if you think about it, like that's also taking into account setup, teardown, scripting, and the whole 9 yards. Like that stuff isn't free. And maybe you've seen that or had issues with that in the past with people. I'd love to hear your experience because when you're on these discovery calls, dude, how many times are people just sticker shocked with the price that you give them?
That's something I hear all the time, man. I think there's a lot of missing education when it comes to the content side of things because of how vast the industry is, right? Like you've got kids out here on an iPhone going and shooting, not saying there's anything wrong with that, all the way up to, people jumping out of red to come shoot. So it's like, the base, there's no real baseline. Like you've got top to bottom for similar services. And I hear that all the time, man, the sticker shock, especially in the social media realm. I think it really comes down to systems and processes. Like what are you offering, right? I know there's a lot of videographers out here and this is a pain point I hear from a lot of my clients across all industries is, like I hire them and then they come out and just like show up with the camera and they're like, okay, well, what do you want to say? Right. And I think there's a lot more to that, right? Like you said, the scripting and being able to coach them on camera, really work on their offer and their audience. Who are they speaking to? Right. Like there's so many of these back end components of content where it's like you really want to speak to your ideal demographic. You don't want to just show up on camera and start talking, right? Because that's just kind of useless content. And I think there's a lot of misinformation about that. And also there's a lot of people that are kind of just showing up with basic camera skills. And not to say there's anything wrong with that, but I think it kind of taints the industry a little bit in the sense of the client's perception of, one agency versus maybe just a videographer, right?
Yeah, no, dude, you hit the nail on the head. I think you're right. Now with YouTube and everything on social media, it's so easy to become a quote unquote videographer or content creator, but how you move the needle and differentiate yourself from your competition is just having an offer that's so good that people feel stupid saying no, Alex Ramosi, or, just really giving them that white glove experience, right? Like, hey, I don't want you to worry about anything. You're paying me to do a service. I'm an expert in this. I want to help you with that. And usually what I've been seeing now is that these higher ticket businesses, when they're paying a premium price, usually they'll be like, hey, I'll let you take care of it. It's the clients that don't have a budget that you're like, you know what? I just need money for the business. I'll do it. They're the ones to where it's the biggest headache a lot of the time, I've noticed. It's funny how that works. But no, I think you've hit so many nails on the head, dude. And I definitely want to partner with you in the future on some stuff because I want to do a lot of real estate stuff, but I don't want to do walkthrough videos. So if that's something that you love doing, I would love to contract you out in your agency to do some of that stuff. Like I really just want to focus on branding content for videos around here. But if I've seen some of your listing videos, they're fire. Go check them out.
Appreciate it.
And that's just not something I'm into, dude. But you know, I know that that's part of the real estate aspect of the business.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, if that's ever something you're interested in, bro, we can definitely talk. And man, we got to get you down in the studio more. I know it's kind of a ways from you, but dude, if you ever need anything, man, I'm happy to facilitate, bro. But dude, I got you a gift. Hold on one second. Got you a shirt.
Let's go.
It's size large. I don't know what size you are, but yeah, just
sick, man.
while you're here. Yeah, it's just one of our grand opening shirts. I thought that it'd be something cool just to rock. And
dude, yeah, for sure. I appreciate that, Kyle.
yeah, no worries, man. We recently introduced we have what we call the Creator Pass. And so the Creator Pass is a studio, part of the studio offer, and that's, dude, it's $150 a month, and you get unlimited access every month here. Okay. So that's like one thing I usually give people who become a member. And but dude, I love what you're doing, and I wanted to just give you that as a token for making that 35, 45 minute drive down here and talking shop with me, man. I appreciate your time, and dude, shout out the camera or to the camera any way that people can get a hold of you if they're interested in what you have to say, because I think that, you know, what you're doing is very unique. I think you have a great personality, and I think you have a lot to offer Houston. And I really want to make sure to outline that for people to find you. So what's some ways people can get a hold of you?
Yeah, no, appreciate the kind words, Kyle. You guys can find me at Andrews Media HTX on Instagram or gageandrews.com on my website as well. Feel free to fill out a form or just shoot me a DM, and, you know, we'd love to talk, love to help you out in any way we can.
I love that, bro. Well, hey, thanks for spending this Saturday with me, man. This is episode 12, and brother, I cannot wait to see more to come with you in the future.
Yes, sir. No, thanks for having me, Kyle.
Cheers, brother. Thanks.